Okay, so what do I think of the Super Friends movie? Or, okay, Justice League. I say Super Friends because I'm old school, okay? I know you young bucks don't remember Super Friends, but that's what I call Justice League. What I'll say first is I think what they should do next is they should come up with a new villain that's so horrible that he just comes and he takes the dreams and hopes and loves and enjoyments of young children and just strangles them out of them and grinds it in a blender. And that villain should be called Zack Snyder. Oh, wait, they've already done that, so it can't be done. That's already been done. So, this is what Justice League, basically the premise of it is it takes place right after Batman vs Superman, where basically the world is still struggling because Superman is dead and so they're still hurt or whatever. So what's going on is Batman and Wonder Woman are trying to assemble a group of heroes for an upcoming threat that they somehow know about. And that threat is Steppenwolf, who enters the Earth from another world and first enters at the home of Wonder Woman at that Amazon island where she comes from, and he seeks to spread his dominion and destruction throughout the rest of the world. And that's basically what you get from this film. Now, the problems I have with this is, and I'm going to get to some things that I saw. There's some subliminal racism. I want to know what you guys think of it, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, I just want to give you a quick breakdown of what a quick review of the movie first, but basically, the problems with this movie is the same as with Man of Steel and Batman Superman. There's no character build up, there's no story build up, there's no plot build up. It just smacks you with a bunch of stuff. There's no reasoning behind anything. Um, for example, Steppenwolf, which seems to be a pretty good villain. He seems evil and mean enough and powerful, but the problem is you don't know why he's so mean and powerful. You don't know what anything about where he's from or where he gets his power. None of that. You know nothing. You know, and he's after a cubes, just like what we saw in as far as the Tesseract in the Avengers, which shows the lack of creativity in the writing. There's no character build up. Like for example, Aquaman, and we don't really learn anything about who he is. You get one scene as we don't learn anything about Atlantis. We get that one scene and that's it. We didn't learn anything from it. Aquaman doesn't bring any type of Atlantis wisdom or anything. He's just sort of there for the party, just to have a good time, you know. Everything you see in the trailer, you won't see anything more so really as far as adding to the story or adding to the overall interest to this movie than what you see in the trailer. Well, there's nothing believable in this movie. There's nothing that is convincing in this movie. You even have a situation where Batman takes a punch from Superman, gets up and walks away. That's the kind of movie we're dealing with. And he's not wearing that armored suit, just the regular Batman suit. And that kind of thing happens in this movie. It's just totally ridiculous stuff. One thing I'll say that helps this movie is you don't have Henry Cavill in it much, Superman, because I think his acting's so horrible. I think that him missing in this movie actually strengthens the movie. I will say this: there's some things I do like about this movie. I would actually say this movie's stronger than Batman vs Superman. One of the things I do like about this movie is the part where Henry Cavill's Superman is bad for a minute. Because this is the only time I've seen him give a convincing performance. I actually felt like he was bad and was really going to do evil stuff. I haven't been convinced with his performance of Superman. A good performance convinces us emotionally. Like if a character is happy, we're convinced they're happy by the performance. All right. But what this guy does is he'll smile and we're supposed to believe he's happy. He'll frown and we're supposed to believe he's mad. That's not a good performance. But in this, I actually felt scared for the Justice League because it's a situation where the Justice League has to go against Superman, and I felt like that was more interesting. Actually was interested in the movie at that point because I was like, whoa, like how are they going to deal with this? Because we're familiar with how powerful Superman is already. So it's like, whoa, what's going to happen? Because Steppenwolf, we don't know much about him, but we know Superman's power. But it only lasts like a minute and then it's over and done. And I wish they could have kept that in the movie some kind of way longer. And then you have the other thing that I think makes this movie a little bit stronger than the other stuff that Zack Snyder has put out is the Flash's character. You have a younger Jewish version of the Flash played by Howie Mandel Jr. That's what I somehow he reminds me of Howie Mandel. I don't know why, but that's his name's Ezra Miller. But anyway, he's like a young teenager who's awkward and kind of out of place, and so that gives it a little bit of humor. But the problem, even with that, is it's too much. You know, you can't have someone that's awkward all the time because this guy still has to be a hero. We remember the Flash as being a hero, so you got to show that in him too. You have to show he's a heroic person too, and they miss out on that. So he's like awkward all the time, and eventually it gets annoying. But it does give the movie humor. So another thing I thought was weird was like they have the guy that is Cyborg's father. He's the same actor that played. His name's Joe Morton. He's the actor that played the guy in Terminator 2 that created the Terminator technology, which is weird because in here he creates the technology for Cyborg, which is kind of strange. Like, you know, I just thought that was weird because I remember him from that movie, and it's weird to see him in this, like, because it takes you back to that. You know, maybe they should have brought the Terminator in for a minute, like I told you I'll be back, and try to kill him, and then maybe Batman could have went and recruited Mr. Freeze to help out, and he'd come and be like, chill out, and then they'd fight each other, and then it'd be an all-out brawl, and then I don't know. I'm just trying to help out because DC needs help. You know, maybe that would have made it more interesting. I don't know. They need something to help out, so I don't know. I just thought that was weird. But anyway, Batman's role. I actually like Ben Affleck's Batman, but I don't know why he chose to deal with Zack Snyder to introduce his Batman because I think Ben Affleck had a good chance, a good shot of being the best Batman. But because the movie is so horrible and Zack Snyder's movie making skills are so horrible, we'll never know it. You know, Zack Snyder, I don't understand it. I don't know why they keep letting this guy make movies, man. He's never made a good movie. I don't know why he gets so many shots. I don't get it. I don't know why Ben Affleck trusted him with this. Like, and then there's one point that was very irritating where you know, he Zack Snyder actually had the nerve. There's a scene with Superman and a scene with Batman where he had the nerve to include the original Super John Williams music score for a split second for Superman, and with a scene with Batman, he included the Tim Burton music score for a minute. And he's not qualified to do stuff like that. Like leave that. Don't even try to include that in your stuff. Like he had no right to do that to me. I felt like that was just like out of place. So anyway, as far as a strong black role, I think Cyborg. I don't know much about the actor, but I felt he did a really good job actually. You know, one of the problems in this movie is the emotion and the drama. You do have little specks, little spots of moments of drama, moments of emotion, but they're so small and sort of like I wish they would have had more moments where you had some uh, interaction with the characters, emotional interaction, you know, stuff like that, and you just get little specks. And the little parts that we do see of Cyborg, I thought were some of the strongest parts of the movie. The most emotional performances come from him in the whole movie, um, and Wonder Woman. Those are the most emotional performances, the best performances, in my opinion, in this film. One thing I felt was not appropriate racially. There was this little miss joke. There's a lot of miss jokes in this movie where the Flash tries to fist bump him and he doesn't fist bump back and he makes this comment like it's a racial thing. And I thought that was, you know, when you're dealing with Hollywood, you know, it makes it seem like it's a racial problem that Cyborg had, why he didn't fist bump back. And I know they're trying to be funny, but I felt like that was just inappropriate, you know, to make it a racial thing. Just do the humor, funny stuff and be on with it. Don't try to add any racial stuff to it because that's not appropriate, especially when you know, it's something that puts a black person in a certain light. Not a huge deal, but just I thought it was inappropriate. Another thing is I was hoping that they would not make any reference to that cartoon cyborg from Teen Titans. I'm like, please don't have him say booyah. Please don't have him say booyah. And they do. And it's just any type of stereotype that's offensive to the black man, they include in that cartoon. And I will be doing a video on it one day. But anyway, I didn't like that they made that connection. Otherwise, I thought his role was very strong. One thing I noticed is there's a scene where on a building, it's at night, and I see this picture on a building at night, right? And it looks like a minstrel face. And in my mind, a black racist minstrel face. And in my mind, when I'm seeing the movie, I'm saying, that can't be what I just saw. That can't be what I just saw, right? So I kind of like tried to ignore it, but then immediately after I see it, Cyborg pops up. And it's the scene where he meets with Wonder Woman to be recruited for the Justice League. So that's a subliminal little joke in there, and I don't know if any of you catch that. Please let me know if I'm crazy. I want to know what you guys think. I'm not going to give this movie a coon stamp or nothing because it's something subliminal you don't really catch, but I want to make it known, and I want everyone to be aware that Hollywood does this in movies and they put little stuff in movies that they don't think you see, but I want to let everybody know I saw that. Let me know if you guys see the same thing at that part in the movie. On the building, there's a little minstrel face, and I want to see if you guys see the same thing. But anyway, all in all, I'll give this movie a C minus. Like I said, they didn't build up any characters to make me interested in any of the new characters, so now I'm not interested in seeing any spin-offs. So I think they need to just reboot. I don't want to. I'm not interested in seeing any more of this Zack Snyder Justice League stuff. I don't want to see any. I don't want to see this anymore. They need to try to do something else at this point for me. That's the way I look at it. So that's my review of it. See you next time.